Shubham Mishra, I guess. I don't know. In future, I want to ask Dan about his feud with Owen Hart, opinion on his WWE theme song, and Jason Sensation if he remembers him.
Jason Sensation. First off, I'm trying to. I don't remember that name offhand, Jason Sensation, but I don't know if that's him putting one of his a rib on one of his buddies, or if that was his ring name or not. But you know, I always tell people it's not because I'm so forgetful. It's when you look at how many different decades I've been going in, how many matches that I've logged in. I just don't remember them all. I kind of wish this internet era had been around. In some aspects, I wish it would have been around a little bit earlier. I would have a lot more recordings of matches, and people might be a little bit more
forgiving,
might be a little bit more impressed with just just in longevity alone. They're down. Maybe just in longevity alone, because I always tell people that I started off in 7th grade with my amateur wrestling career. And I really started making my mark by the time I was a sophomore in high school. And, from my junior year on, I mean, I just really started just to owning the sport of wrestling. So when you start looking at, I actually officially started in 7th grade, 1969. So when you look at the fact that you can say that you wrestled in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2010s, and are you done? Well, I mean, who knows what there might be some new there might be some new masters / senior citizen type of event there that might be taking place where, I'll have sponsors like Depends and Geritol and Just for Men, So I think, no one really wants to say that their career is over, but I can realistically say that, my MMA career has come to an end. I still go to various professional wrestling shows. I still do appearances. I still do. I've done even up this past year. I've actually done a couple professional wrestling matches, but I'm really concerned about who I step into that ring with, because I don't want to be injured at this juncture of life, because my body does not heal the same way it once did when I was a much younger man. So I'm always concerned about who do they want me to be in the ring there with, but even more, what are they looking for as an outcome? I mean, it's as I get older, it makes more and more sense to start passing on the torch to some of these younger athletes, but only the ones that actually have legit type of credentials do I really want to do the honors of passing on the torch to. Others, no. I have too much pride when it comes to that.
All right, yeah. That was great. Can we get back to the question with Owen Hart, please?
Okay.
Your feud with Owen Hart.
Well, I really didn't have a feud with Owen Hart per se, because there was Owen Hart. I mean, my only interactions really were being a guest referee between him and Ken when they were doing their dungeon match, and that was taking place at the Hart residence. I only really met Owen at the WMF shows, and only just superficially. I got to get to know literally more of Stu Hart when I was actually there at the event. They kept throwing, they being the WWF creative team, kept throwing Steve Blackman, Ken Shamrock, Owen Hart, and myself seemed like always together. I enjoyed some of the matches that I had with Owen, but then at the same token, I had one match where he literally did drop me on my head. I mean, he took me up in an inverted position and basically, was supposed to be doing a tombstone type of a power driver type of maneuver on me. And he literally, I don't know if I was too big for him or the fact that he used to put baby oil on his body to help it glisten. And maybe I slid a little too far south. But the reality is, when it comes to professional wrestling, the number one rule of professional wrestling is you take care of me and I take care of you. No one really should get hurt in this match. And he hurt me. I mean, literally, I landed on the top of my head. A bolt of lightning did go down my spine, went down my leg. And as I laid there, because it was part of it was supposed to be showcased as I was supposed to get hurt as an angle, as a story angle, not for real. And as I laid there, I'm trying to still stay in character, and I'm trying to move my leg to make certain that my leg still move. I'm trying to move my hands very subtly so that, I don't bring any attention to myself on while I'm laying there. And, with the ring crew bringing in the backboard and putting on the neck brace, all that was all set up beforehand. So, but, as soon as they got me through the curtain, I just got off the backboard and I was good to go. And that's when Owen Hart came up to me, and he's like, because when he was in the match, he knew he screwed up. Mm-hmm. And he leaned forward, and he basically, underneath his breath, he simply said, "If you're okay, squeeze my hand." Well, I did not squeeze his hand. Now, again, it was only because I wasn't certain. I wasn't certain if I was okay yet, because I hadn't wiggled my fingers. Right. I hadn't wiggled my toes yet. And basically, that's when I kind of went after him and grabbed him by the chest and stuff like that. And I went after him, saying that you violated the number one rule of professional wrestling of not taking care of me, and that if I was pretty livid at him at that point in time, and I probably said a few unsavory things at that point, but and I probably really meant them at that point, because I was pissed, because I dodged a bullet.
Yeah, was that before or after the Steve Austin incident with Owen?
No, actually, I think it was just after the incident with Steve Austin as well, because, I mean, even Steve Austin called me up, I'll say a little over a year or so back, out of the blue, and he's like, "Hey, partner," he goes, "Steve Austin here." He says, "I know we didn't talk much when we worked with for Vince and stuff like that." He goes, "I had my thing to do, you had your thing to do." He said, "But a buddy of mine showed me a clip, the same clip that we're talking about now. And he was really blunt to the point. He goes, he fucked up, didn't he?" And I said, "Well, yes, he did." And he dropped me on my head for real. And then that's what Steve was saying, "Are you okay?" And I just kind of laughed, and he said, "Well, you mean mentally and physically?" And he just kind of laughed about that with his first side. And I said that I had a bolt of lightning, shoot down my back and down my leg. I said, but I think that I weathered the storm. But I mean, I say it like that because time will tell. Right. All the matches that you had, all the matches that I had, we don't know until more and more time passes on. Will I be sitting in the corner while you're still got the headset on? Will I just have drool running down my chin in this, and I'm just blowing bubbles in the background because you just kind of feel sorry for me. You just want to still have me around. Just go, well, Dad doesn't say much anymore, but we just like him as he's our new Lawrence Welk. He's the bubble machine over there.
Right. Quinn moved up to president of the company, and Dan slid
Quinn.
Dan slid into her position.
Something like that, exactly. Something exactly like that. So, did we answer the question yet, or did you? Or did
my
you?
Partner, I don't know, but I give up. I give up. How did I get stuck in this position? Is what I want to know.
Well, Don, I'll tell you what, next time when I'm in town, I'll do all the reading. How's that?
Yeah, next time you're in town, well, when would that be, Mr. Severn?
Well, I tell you what, it'll be ho, 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 getting close to, trick or treat, Thanksgiving.
When the food's out.
Drumstick Day. Yeah, exactly.
When the
Christmas
food's out.
Cookies, yeah. And the Grinch Who Stole Christmas. All those classics.
That explains it. It comes time to eat.
Well, just ask that question one more time. I just want to make sure that we answered most of the stuff.
Geez, you really want to go through this again? What
Well,
was
again,
that?
sure. I mean,
Let's see. Was it
this is the test to
The
you to
Owen
see
Hart
me.
question
Owen
Yeah, the
Hart?
Owen Hart question.
about wrestling. Oh,
In
and you want to
future, I
know
want to
about
ask Dan about his feud with Owen Hart, opinion on his WWE theme song, and Jason Sensation if he remembers something.
Yeah, well, again, I think I talked about Jason at the very beginning,
You
just
have no
because
idea.
I've just dumped up too much. I have no, yeah, exactly. For all I know, I might be related to him, or as Don Frye's answer machine says, if I owe you any money, or if you're a stalker or something like this, I don't know you. Don't leave a message.
Go away.
Yeah. So I think I answered all the other aspects of it there, but
God, I hope so.
okay. I just try to be thorough there, Mr. Fry. Just try to be thorough. Don't want to lose those 2 or 3 fans that we might have.
where they want to know about your ring music, Dan.
Oh, the ring music. I thought actually the first time I ever heard, I thought, okay, that's for me. That's pretty cool.
What was it? Do you remember who sang it or played it or?
No, it was nothing. No, it wasn't nothing singable or something like that. It was just all types of just music. I mean, we should have actually had it.
Yeah.
Tony, you mean tell me? Okay, you're the wizard of technology. You can't simply just click on or bring up Dan Severn's WWF theme music and let's play it right now. There you go.
Wow.
I know we're there. Drum roll. It's coming. Tony's being a young man, stuff like that. He understands the internet a whole lot more than what you and I do there, Frye, and he knows how to look that stuff up a whole lot quicker.
Yeah, he does. I didn't ever.
I would have gotten around to it eventually, but I would have lost the screen and everything else here, and then we'd be starting from square one again.
That was great. Shut it off. Kill it. This is from John Campbell. John Campbell. No H in John, just Jon. People, that's why I always ask you when I'm signing autographs, how do I spell your name? John, Jon. You would think John's a simple name, John, but there are people out there that cut consonants or vowels out of their name, and
yes there is.
Yeah, and when we get them wrong, people are upset, even though, and then when we ask how to spell it, they get upset. So take it easy on the old men, will you? Jeez. All right, here we go. John Campbell, great show. Dan, how was your experience working with Jim Cornette? Don, you were the first all-around fighter in UFC history and a effing legend. Thank you. Much respect to both of you. All right. So
again, I was a one-trick pony. I was just a wrestler, just a grappler. And when you came along with your boxing skills and your judo skills and that, I should say I did take a semester of judo at Arizona State University, but that was didn't really have any competition other than I think a couple of tournaments at that point in time. So I don't rely a whole great deal upon my
who taught the class
judo background. I think it was Jay Kim.
Oh, I wonder if it's.
And I don't even know why that name even popped up into my mind, but that's the name that popped into my mind right now. Jay Kim at Arizona State.
I was wondering if it was Coach Douglas. You know, because Coach Douglas was a black belt in judo. You know, he mixed the judo in with his wrestling.
I actually thought he was involved in the pancration movement at one point in time as well.
Oh, really?
Yes. I remember him talking about it. I remember this is way before your time, but there were athletes like Billy Rosado and George Espinoza. These were both seniors at the time when I was just a freshman at Arizona State, and they were both very skilled in judo and sambo.
Yeah.
So I just know that Coach Douglas was also involved.
And he's got a lot going on in his life. Holy balls. Holy shit. That goes, I got a question in here about the Godzilla movie right there.
How did a sneeze at Godzilla?
Whoa, Bobby.
How did that bring up that Godzilla just then? I mean, Godzilla was a little bit more ferocious, wasn't he?
Not with that sneeze. That was a pretty rancid sneeze there, buddy. You got
it makes me feel good now that I right up there with Godzilla now. Yeah.
All the blue stuff's flying out of your face. Ooh.
Cornette, James Cornette. How was working with Cornette?
Oh, okay. For me, working with James Cornette it's phenomenal. I mean, first off, I've been involved with 3 different occasions where Cornette was really involved. I mean, the first time was the sheer fact that without him ever even meeting me, you've got a promoter, and I'm thinking it was Dennis Carluzzo out of New Jersey, was probably making a contact with Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette was running Smoky Mountain Wrestling at that time. Chris Candido was a champion. And simply to pitch an idea Jim Cornette was successful with this Smoky Mountain product.
Oh, Jim Cornette was probably one of the funniest, most knowledgeable guys in the wrestling world, you know.
I mean, and literally, he always tried to make sense out of professional wrestling matches, right, which a lot of people don't want to make sense out of it, right, really whatsoever, but he always tried to make sense out of it. And you literally, if you talk to Jim long enough, you'll see that the inner child come out of him that fell in love with professional wrestling decades earlier. It's still there. That's how passionate he is about the product and wanting to do the right thing by the product itself. But again, for the question was asked me, for something like a Dennis Carluzzo to approach a Jim Cornette to say, hey, we want to bring in this guy. Jim Cornette has never met me before. And to bring in a guy to your promotion to somehow work an angle into a match that will take place that night, of which your champion now turns over the NWA title belt. I mean, talk about someone that, that's a very tall
order
asking of, to ask of another individual. And I'll just say that he stepped right up to the plate and he was fantastic about all of it. And again, when I was involved when I was working at WWF, he was part of the creative team, and he just would usually come out of the creative meetings, and I would be sitting there in their cafeteria working on whatever stuff I was working on at the time with my cell phone and stuff like that. My planner. The cafeteria was just the place where a lot of the wrestlers just hung out because it was the biggest area. And there's desks and chairs and tables and stuff like that that you can work from. So I mean, honestly, Don, the same mess that you really can't see here that's on this table here right now is the same mess that I would have several decades back. But again, he would come up there and he put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, Dan, he goes, this creative team, he goes, they don't have a clue what to do with you. He goes, in my humble opinion, he says, you're the greatest thing ever to happen to professional wrestling. You're a wrestler who can actually wrestle. He goes, no, you're not going to cut promos because that's not Dan Severn. So literally I was kind of like a Brock Lesnar 20 plus years before there ever was a Brock Lesnar that came on the scene at the time. But it was I think it was just too new at that point in time. So I'll say that I was paid quite well for a lot less matches. I mean, as I said earlier, the average worker at that time worked 187 dates. I worked 60 dates for WWF at the time, and I was not exclusive, so I could work for anybody else, including WCW, ECW. They both existed at that time, and the NWA. So I was working with the NWA very long. I mean, I did that work for either ECW or the so I mean, I just didn't work for any of the other major companies because I mean WCW, because you don't bite the hand that's feeding you there either.
No,
To me, that's
no.
common sense, but then common sense and professionalism doesn't exactly go hand in hand either.
Right.
But I'll just simply say that my WWF career was very uneventful. I mean, I met a few wonderful individuals, made some money. Other than that, that was about it. But at the same token, I I did a lot of other cool things along there with it because I mean, the fact that I had my schedule ahead of time, so I'd fly in early, and I traveled basically by myself. So as I flew in early, I grabbed a rental car. I might go and do a workout, or I might go and teach a seminar earlier, then go do the match for WWF, and then maybe do an appearance at a sports bar later that night. So in the same 24 hours that's gone, I might be pulling down 3 paychecks as opposed to 1. So I don't know what else to say there, Mr. Frye. I mean, I was just doing Dan Severn stuff.